to do it for yourself. Now, don't forget that the butter must be rancid and contain some form of repulsive microscopic life form. Now, obviously, they're far too small to be picked up by the camera, so here's a repulsive microscopic life form we've slightly enlarged. Now, a cosy, homey environment is terribly important with your first place junior farties, and simple little touches make all the difference, okay? Really create your world. Old snotty Kleenexes, for instance, they're terribly important. They should be scattered around the bed and all around your abode. They're awfully easy to make and well worth the effort, so they set a room off beautifully. What you need is a box of tissues and some flour and water solution, okay? Now, what you do is this. You take an ordinary Kleenex, any tissue will do, you crunch it up into a little floret, and then you just dribble a little of the solution into the, and then you pop it on the table and leave it to dry. You'll need 20 or 30 for a really good display area, so obviously here's some which we made earlier. Just sprinkle them around the bed. There we are, around the bed, a few around the table, but mainly around the bed. There you go. Oh, a good tip, if you've got a couple left over, a good tip is to put them in the pockets of any pair of jeans you're thinking of washing, okay? Just pop them in there and you'll get a really nice dappled look to the denim after you've been to the laundrette, all right? So, speaking of the laundrette, terribly important for the junior farty. I always think that a full stash of clean washing is like having sex with all of the Nolan sisters at once. A beautiful possibility, but frankly, unlikely. After all, within 5 seconds of moving in, your bedsit will have a steaming sack of steaming rancid socks and absolute, your mother had died. Now, this basically is so, it forces you to go to the Oxfam shop and buy more clothes. Now, obviously, I don't have time to go to the Oxfam shop now, so here's someone who went for us. The bed is terribly important. Now, it's awfully important that the sheets are good and gritty, okay? So what you need is a couple of cupfuls of grit. That's it. So just any grit will do. I think we've used cat litter here, but any grit will do. And just, there we are, all the way down, rub it round, and that's splendid. There you are. That'll give you a really authentic, cosy feel. Any gravel will do. Now, if you've got, oh, by the way, little tip, if you've got any of that flour and water solution left, well, just flick a little bit. Just flick it. There we go. Flick a little bit. That'll crisp up beautifully. Now, back to the kitchen. The fridge should contain very little, very, very little. Oh, perhaps just an old sausage, maybe. Like this one. So green it looks like it's just popped out of the trousers of the site manager at Sellafield. Now, next to the fridge, you'll find the sink. Now, the sink's very important because this is where you wash. And this is what you wash with. Not a bar of soap, more a label which once had soap behind it. Now, also, you'll be washing your hair in the sink. Washing your hair, now that's terribly important. Hair in the plug is even more important than hair on the ketchup. Now, obviously, I don't have time to pull out all my hair and put it in the plug hole now, so here's someone who pulled all the hair out of the plug hole and put it on his head. Nice to see you. To see you, nice. Oh no, the lights have gone out, which in your bedsit means, of course, another 50p in the meter. Here we go. And then, shortly after that, another 50p. And shortly after that, another 50p. Now, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have time to demonstrate a complete electricity rip-off now, so you'll just have to wait till it's privatised. So, if you are short of electricity, you can always charge up just by walking across the nylon carpet, you see? Now, if you think living this way sounds a bit unpleasant and expensive, here's some alternative accommodation where you'd pay the same poll tax. And that is bedsit living. Next week, housing policy for the 90s.
EastEnders? Ha! Nothing but communist homosexual claptrap. Eastern Bloc benders, I call it.
Now then, last week we mentioned pop music, and in the process bad-mouthed Jive Bunny, which was perhaps a little unfair. I mean, we should, of course, have been having a go at the big new sensation, the New Kids on the Block. You know what their album's called? Hangin' Tough. Anyway, in keeping with the spirit of balance here at the BBC, we have offered Jive Bunny right of reply. So this week, joining me on The Escalator Show is Jive Bunny. Next week, beautiful Bernard Matthews. Let's just see that again. Next week, truthful Bernard Matthews. The economy is much in the news this week. Nowhere is the reality gap wider. During the Nevilles, you heard poor old Dennis put his foot in it about the miracle economy. Now, a couple of years ago, we were again told by a different chancellor we had a miracle economy. The economy hasn't got a name these days, has it? Maybe they should call it the cock-up economy. We could have a chancellor of the cock-up, couldn't we? Actually, I feel a bit sorry for the poor old chancellor. I mean, he gets the job, and suddenly everyone expects him to sort it all out. How? He doesn't know any better than you or I do. International finance is completely unfathomable, even to those involved in it. Look, I'll bet there isn't a single person in this room who really understands it. Come on, be honest. At the end of the news, when Anna Ford does the financial bit, you know, just after the friendly bit about the panda that can't get an erection. Now, come on. Do you follow it? Of course you don't.
And now, financial news. In the city today, the Financial Times 100 index fell sharply against the Dow Jones run on the yen, which rallied strongly and at close of trading stood 1.4 up against a basket of currencies. And now, the panda that can't get a stiffy.
Did you understand it? Of course not. It's the same for the Chancellor. He's like the rest of us. He's sat at home on his sofa, he turns to his wife, he says, well, it's all cobblers as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to make a cup of tea. I mean, really, for all anybody understands the financial news, they might as well combine it with the panda news. It would make as much sense.
And now the financial and zoological news. In New York, on the 100 share market index, the panda's penis fell by 6 points to a record low.
Nobody knows what's going on with the economy. It's too big. It's too wild. It's too out of control. I mean, if they understood it, they could predict a crash, maybe even know how to deal with one. But no, it takes us all by surprise, experts and lay people alike. One day, Anna Ford says, they're calling it Black Monday, we've lost $40 billion. What's happened that day? Have all the factories closed? Have all the rivers dried up? Have the crops failed? No, nothing tangible has happened in any way whatsoever, but they've lost $40 billion. How can you lose $40 billion? I'm ringing them up and saying, look, I'll help you look for it, man. Think, where did you last have it? Now, come on. What coat were you wearing? Check the pockets. Have you checked them again? Check them again. The next day, Anna Ford says it's getting worse. They're calling it Oh Shit Tuesday. We've lost another $40 billion. Still, nothing's happened. There's been no strikes. No worms have been found in the apples at Marks and Spencer's. Cliff Richard hasn't left the pop business. But we've lost $80 billion. How? Nobody knows. On the news, whenever they want to illustrate a financial crisis, do they describe it? Do they tell us what's going on? No. They just have a shot in the city of a big room full of young men in stripy shirts staring intently at television screens. They're watching Neighbours, I swear it. They don't know what is going on. If it's a really serious crisis, the action on the news cuts to a shot of the Japanese stock exchange with all the Japanese people running around waving their arms in the air. What are they saying? I'll tell you what they're saying. They're saying, what's going on? What's going on? Finance is all a big, mysterious secret. It's important to keep it mysterious, to keep it secret, so that we're not allowed in. We don't understand. Even the city jargon is truly absurd. This is true. They have a bit of a thing about animals, actually. For instance, true, a hit-and-run investor is a stag. More relevant names suggest themselves. Banker, for instance, or certainly something that sounds like banker. And someone desperate to sell is called a bear. This is the man who bought into Clive Sinclair the day before the invention of the C5. And this is the man who believed Derek Jameson and Norman Tebbit would push Sky TV into early profit. And here we see the Channel Tunnel Consortium at play. You notice how all these city freeloaders have named themselves after really cool animals, like stag and bull and bear. You don't see these little financial farties calling themselves gnu's or centipedes. Yeah, actually, I work in the city. I'm a duck-billed platypus, yeah. No wonder Anna Ford gets so confused.
Anna Ford? Ha! Anna led into the girls in the shower.
Thank you. My name's Ben Elton, and good night.